February meeting of the Town of Homer. If you please rise, we'll say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're starting out with the public hearing. So I get a notice of a public hearing, Town of Homer. Notice is hereby given that the Homer Town Board will hold a joint public hearing with the Village of Homer on the proposed annexation of certain property located on Wolf Road from the Village of Homer into the Town of Homer. The hearing will take place on February 11th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the Homer Town Hall, 31 North Main Street, Homer, New York. The property proposed for annexation is as follows. Wolf Road parcel number 76.30-01-01.00. The purpose of the public hearing is to allow interested persons to express their views on the proposed annexation and to discuss any questions or concerns related to the process. All interested parties are invited to attend the hearing and may submit written comments to the town clerk at 31 North Main Street, Homer, or by email to the clerk, Town of Homer. Prior to the hearing, the full text of the annexation petition is available for inspection at the office of the town clerk during normal business hours. So is there any comments on the annexation of the property on Wolf Road?
Mike, on behalf of the Village of Homer, I have also trustee Mike Opsey with us as well. We reviewed and we have no issues with the proposed annexation.
Okay. So if the board remembers, earlier in the summer, we annexed 3 parcels. The only thing we didn't realize, there was a parcel between the town and the village, and they got to be continuous. So we had to include the other parcel, which Dan, our lawyer, talked to them, and they were more than willing, because they get no services, so it doesn't affect any village services, so it doesn't affect them. So that's why that happened. Any other discussion on that, comments?
Yeah, on the map, which property is it? Just out of curiosity, he was just
It's
asking.
the 25 acres on the corner of Wolf and Cosmos Extension. It should be on the left side of the map.
It'd be that one right there.
Yep.
This is the one that's
Parcel
being-
number 1, I
okay.
think it's labeled.
Number 1,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So partial number 2, 3, because they didn't touch the town, you can't annex it. They have to
Yep,
touch.
it has to be consecutive, yep,
Yep.
or contiguous.
Any other questions or comments on the public hearing? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Minutes. Need a motion to approve the minutes?
Dan wants to make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I see. Everyone wants to do it.
Randy, go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from January 10th meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? General bills.
I ordered the general bills, vouchers 13 through 49, totaling $156,208.04. Moved they be paid. I had 2 pinks from the construction for $41,000 and change, and $92,000 roughly. Okay, that's why that's so high. But those are for the construction accounts. I'll make a motion that we authorize payment.
I'll second that.
Second that. Any other discussion on that? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Brandon, once we're on your side, would you do the,
Yep.
the escrow account, please?
Yep. So I have voucher number 3 and 4. It's for engineering and legal services for the Seaboard Solar Project coming out of the escrow account. For the total of $7,965. I make a motion to pay vouchers number 3 and 4.
Second.
Second. So if you remember, the escrow account is where they put the money in the account for us to pay for engineering and lawyer fees. So that's where that money comes from. It's not actually town money, it's what they supplied us in an escrow. So those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Highway bills.
Make a motion that we receive and file vouchers 11 through 26 totaling $18,260.50. A couple of the bigger bills, 5-star equipment for some work on a loader, and Marabito for diesel fuel. Other than that, cut and dry.
Those were bigger bills? Okay. Just checking.
Not as big as yours, Kevin. Need a second on that?
I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Monthly reports. Receive and file.
I make a motion that we receive and file the chief, clerk, code, dog, highway, and supervisory reports for the month.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now to the next one up is privilege of the floor, so.
So I actually have 3 things. I'm gonna start with 2 smaller ones, and then we'll talk about the roundabouts. The first one is the village authorized the Center for the Arts to coordinate with Spectrum for public access television. So pretty soon, the village will have a public access station operating out of the village that will be on Spectrum. More to follow on that one.
Thanks.
The second thing is the Small Projects Fund for the village's DRI is officially open. We have applications which will be on our counter. It's $450,000. Grants can vary in size up to $100,000, or as low as $5,000 to $15,000. It's a reimbursable grant with a 25% match, so they have to pay for everything first, and then they get reimbursed by the state minus the 25%.
What kind of stuff does that cover?
Facades, new businesses,
Okay.
Mostly focused on mixed-use residential, mixed-use commercial residential, commercial on the bottom, residential on top. But it covers a lot of different things, facade improvement. The IDA BDC is running lead agency on that. So Ashley Reelman is going to be the contact point for that one. So that'll come out on Happening in Homer tomorrow, and we will publicize it further on our website, their website, and the paper.
Oh, that's just for the village.
It's for the village DRI area,
Okay.
cantonment area. There will be a public meeting on the 3rd of March at the Center for the Arts Community Room at 6 o'clock for interested parties. But you don't have to, if anybody's interested, they don't have to wait until the 3rd of March. They can reach out ahead of time.
Nice.
And exciting bit of, and Caleb and I were on this. DOT on the 4th of February came out and proposed draft of either left turn lanes or roundabouts. This is the roundabouts one. This is left turn lanes at the intersections of 41 and 90 and 281.
Can the tractor get around it?
Yeah.
That's
Does
the,
that work for you?
So this can all be driven on.
okay.
Everything is. So this one in particular, I don't think this one will actually go through.
So these are drafts.
Corner of 90.
It was a good conversation. They will have a public meeting on August of this year. They have not set a specific date or time for that.
How would they want to do
And
this one? I
then
understand.
they are looking to finalize engineering in 2027 and start construction in 2028. So we've got, they said, and then Caleb can attest for this, they could do 2 roundabouts, 2 left turn lanes, they could do a roundabout here and a left turn lane here, or vice versa. But I think they are leaning towards roundabouts in both locations. That was the feeling I got. Caleb, was that, yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of things were discussed. I had, Caleb was there, Bob Pittman, Homer Village Chief of Police was there, our fire department was there, our water department was there, our cemetery crew was there. So all were, because we have Glenwood Cemetery, which is impacted by one of those roundabouts. Some of the things that were discussed was the fact of heavy trucks bypassing 81 and coming up this way because of the construction, concerns about heavy trucks coming down the hill of 90, especially in like conditions like tonight. And then the sight lines of coming over 41 when you're going from west to east over the rise. So again, these are just draft. Caleb, anything that I missed out on, please contribute.
No, the chiefs were here from the fire department, so they were asking about, how to get the fire trucks in and out of there. Water department was here. What happens if there's a water line break? There's a main that goes directly underneath the middle of that roundabout. There's a lot of unanswered questions here with the DOT that I don't know if we will get them, but who's on the hook to replace that? They said, well, we probably will. That wasn't a good enough answer, I don't think. So I think that they are leaning towards 2 of these roundabouts if they have it their way. Boy, it's going to be snug to fit one in on Route 90, in my opinion.
They have not talked to the businesses at those intersections yet. And for the Quick Mart and Burn Dairy, some of those are going to be one-way in, one-way out entrances as opposed to 2-way entrances now.
Why are they leaning towards this exit?
The statistics that they provided for was that roundabouts have like a 66% lower incident rate, lower fatality rate, and like a 25% lower T-bone whatever rate. They said left turn lanes have a lower fatality rate, but a higher general incident rate. So they looked at they were just looking at numbers and percentages, and they are, I think the flavor right now is roundabouts, and that's what they're leaning towards for everything.
So they're gonna have to actually go into private property, not just the right of way or anything like that.
Yeah, these things are gonna be
Huge.
big.
Eminent
And the other
domain cures that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And the other concern was also at the 41, 281, is you will not be able to come down Clinton and take the right if you're a large truck. If you come down Clinton, you're gonna have to go around the circle and then go out to go north.
And you said they don't really care about local input.
No, they care, they listened, but at the end of the day, they made it clear they have 51% of the vote. And a lot of what they're doing is, we've been doing these all over the state, we've seen more, we know more,
Of course, there's things.
so, yeah.
What would be the expected time frame to put them in? Because there's a lot of farm equipment that go around there.
They would be expecting in 2020, let's see, we're at 26 now, 27, 28.
But once they start, because it's gonna shut that corner.
So they are thinking that it'll be,
It's gonna be a long year, whatever year that is. 'Cause
yeah, they're thinking that they would like to start probably May timeframe. And I think, Caleb, didn't they say the roundabouts take longer? So probably a year and a half.
Oh, dear.
And will they do both simultaneously?
Yeah,
That's
It'll
what
be a fun year and over.
they said they would prefer that, but we recommended no, and they said, okay, thank you.
And the other thing that we talked about was, okay, can you do a left turn lane only by the cemetery and the roundabout by the 41-281? And I go, yeah, we can do that, but they also mentioned they did that in another town, and they said 2 years later they wanted the left turn lane turned into a roundabout because they liked the roundabout so much, and they said, well, too late now. So I think that also kind of fosters their opinion as to why they are leaning towards 2 roundabouts right now. There will also be some traffic pedestrian improvements between the 2 areas. You can see them there. It would be the flashing lights for the crosswalks, some minor improvements there. The other thing we did talk about was pedestrian traffic. We've got the super cream at the one location, and we have the high school and the high school students who walk along 281 to get to either Burn Dairy and or the Quick Mart. And they said noted, and they took down the notes.
Very good.
So can you have a roundabout with such an elevation change on 41 and 281? Because there's a pretty big drop coming down. Just get a
I'm not a DOT engineer, but
Just go through it.
Just go through it.
There's no lights there.
but that was part of our concern when you're coming over that elevation. So.
Just the year and a half they built these things, it's gonna be awful.
I don't have to go up there.
All right, so if there's no more on that one, we'll move on. Anything else, Pat?
No, these will be available on the village counter for review for anybody that wants to take a look at them.
Read.
It's great to be here, everybody. Everybody for getting my notification. Everybody got it. I'm gonna keep sending those if they're helpful. I hope that they are. If there's anything extra that you'd like to see in those, if it's particular committee work, if it's my activities, if it's other projects that are going on, please let me know. Please communicate with me. I want to make sure that you got all that information that you need. Right now, it's the mental health building that we're all excited about coming here on the 23rd of February. So that's been a while in the making, but this is a huge benefit to all of Portland County. And then there's a press release that's been put out by the county detailing the specifics of the move from 7 Clayton to 111 Port Watson. So we're very excited about that. And if anybody has any questions about anything else in the memo, please let me know. Thanks.
Like your newsletter, I think that is helpful. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Tim.
Like I see that on the webpage that you're asking for another 100,000. Can you refresh my memory why we need to, didn't we give you like 300,000 or something, a bonus on that?
No. We will get into it in detail in a minute, but it is, our approved contingency at the time was $171,454. And I'll explain why when we get into that. I got some handouts and stuff.
With all this, with the increases that the constituents are doing, I mean, I know we gotta finish the project, but it just seems like we're getting more and more. Is this gonna be the end of it? Are we gonna do another 100,000?
No, I think this will take care of it, but like I said, I'll do a better job explaining it when we get there, and if you got any questions as I'm explaining that,
Okay,
I'll let you ask it, okay?
all right, thank you.
Okay. That way I can get the handouts and everything and.
Okay.
and
I
for the board.
appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, just want to check.
Any other? Okay, moving on. So the Wolf Road annexation. So Dan, you got the motion you're gonna read?
Yeah, first on this, though, we need to do a short environmental assessment form
Okay.
part 2. So I'll read down through the different criteria, and then your answer would either be no impact, or it could be moderate to large impact. So for the annexation, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Will the proposed action impact existing water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
Nope.
Okay, so with all being answered in the negative, the board can consider a motion to declare a negative declaration.
So we need to make that motion?
Yep.
I make a motion.
Declare a negative declaration
Negative declaration.
on the Wolf Road annexation part 2.
Wolf Road annexation part 2.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I just need you to sign these two. There's the first one there. And you have your proposed resolution in your board packet.
So, can I get somebody to read that resolution? You wanna read it, Dan?
Yeah, I can read it. Yep. Pursuant to Article 17 of the General Municipal Law, whereas a petition for annexation has been submitted pursuant to Article 17 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York by the owners of certain real property located within the Village of Homer, requesting annexation of said property into the Town of Homer. And whereas the petition was duly filed with the Town Board of the Town of Homer and Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer, and whereas the petitioners are the sole owners of the real property described as follows: Wolf Road tax ID number 76.30-01-01.000, approximately 25.55 acres, hereinafter the annexed territory, and said territory is contiguous to the Town of Homer. And whereas the stated reasons for annexation include the inability to connect to village utility services due to topographic constraints, the rural residential character of the properties, and the alignment of the property with the planning priorities of the Town of Homer. And whereas a joint public hearing on the proposed annexation was held by the Town Board and the Village Board on February 11th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. as required by General Municipal Law, Section 703. And whereas the Town Board has reviewed the annexation petition and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing, and finds that the proposed annexation is in the overall public interest. And whereas the Town Board has conducted a review of the proposed annexation pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, has determined that the proposed annexation constitutes an unlisted action and has issued a negative declaration, finding that the action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Homer hereby 1. Finds and determines that the proposed annexation of the annexation territory is in the overall public interest. 2. Approves and consents to the annexation of the lands located at Wolf Road as described above from the Village of Homer into the Town of Homer. 3. Ratifies and confirms the seeker determination declaring the action to be unlisted and adopting a negative declaration. 4. Authorizes the Town Supervisor to take all steps necessary and appropriate to effectuate the annexation, including executing and filing any documentation required by the General Municipal Law and New York State Department of State. 5. Directs that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Village of Homer, the petitioners, and any other required agencies.
So we need a motion.
I'll make the motion that
we approve the resolution of annexation territory. Just use that one right there.
To approve the, your motion to approve the resolution authorizing annexation of territory from the village of Palmer to the town of Palmer.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. You're up, get you home, go to bed. We need our roads plowed in the morning.
I know, it's bad. Today's probably the worst day that we've had all year, I think, but, last 30 days we've been doing a lot of plowing. As you can imagine, everything's working good. Trucks are being maintained, greased. They all meet DOT standards. Everybody's working hard, everybody's showing up on time. I'm one of the guys. I show up every day with them, make sure they're doing their job and they're taking care of all the equipment. And the facility, we've gone through all the year of work we've done on that and the equipment, it's really paying off big time. Having that shop is just worth its weight in gold. But, got lots of overtime, man. Greasing the trucks. We've undercoated them. We've had it all on inspection. They've all been inspected. All the equipment's good to go. Backup trucks. We've got 6 10-wheelers and some small trucks. Loader, that's all good. The facilities, all heaters working and everything, drains. Overhead doors, we sprayed those the other day. We're working on that when we can, along with the trucks. Again, we've gone through a lot of equipment. We're still working on that. We've got some different blades we're running on the plows. We've only got a couple sets on our plows right now, but we received a grant. I was talking about for $7,300, $7,350 for these React blades that kind of contour to the road. So things will get better as but even if there's a little snow on the road, there's a lot of aggregate. So, but like I say, today's probably the worst day we've had all year. We had a thaw. The roads have been below sub-zero temperature for so long. And then we had a thaw with rain. And now we're back to snow and blowing. And the roads are just peeling out big time. Not so much down here, but on our hills. So we need to keep in mind that. But we've been going since 4 o'clock this morning, and the guys are out right now, so we've been here all day, so. Well, when we're not plowing or working on the trucks, like I say, we'll be working on the facilities and the equipment, but, we'll be out pushing banks back and shelving and, making sure our road signs are up. Tree work, we get thawed, we have to make sure our water's going in the proper. And, thousands of hours of paperwork and thought. Mike and I meet every day, talk. We're thinking about stuff for spring, summer, next year. We put a lot of time in. So, appreciate all the help, support.
So the board knows, I mean, they've been incredible amount of overtime, just like every municipality, but we've also Kyle's encouraged them to, hey, we're caught up today, it's a nice day, they come in and did their route, everything's good, take a half a day off. You know, get out of here because the weekend's coming and they're gonna have to plow all weekend, so.
They've been just.
We got a great group of guys, so we're trying to keep them there.
7 days a week, they're on time. No complaints.
Any questions for Kyle? We want to get him out of here, he's tired.
Any questions, comments, concerns, stop over, call.
How are those blades working?
Really good, the React blades. We only have them on a couple routes. That's gonna be huge. So what those React blades do is they contour to the ground and they take the snow off so we can put our product directly on the road. So we have, 4 trucks without them. That it is night and day. So
you'll see, things are gonna get better, like I say, we've done so much, it's not a short amount of time,
Okay,
but it's snowing, we're out, but, like I say, these hills get nasty. So,
thank you, Kyle.
yeah, thank you guys, have a great night.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Bye. Get some sleep.
All right, so the next thing is supervisor appointment. So on the planning board, Bruce Crandall's been on there a number of years, and he's in Tennessee. He's only made 1 or 2 meetings last year. Having a hard time getting a quorum. Talked to Bruce. No hard feelings. He said if you need to replace me, he understands, because he won't be back for a couple of months. He didn't make many meetings at all last year. Mike's been up against it. They've actually had a call, try to get somebody else in there. So, I mean, we have 7 members. You're gonna have 4 for quorum. So we need to do it. So again, I talked to Bruce, no problem. He said, if that's what you need to do it. So pulling him off. And Mike McMahon, of course, this is all consultant with Mike McMahon. He's our planning board chairman. He came up with the name. I said we should start looking with Matt Sweeney. So I want to appoint Matt Sweeney to serve on the planning board. Now, Matt Sweeney lives over on McDonald Road. He's also the operating manager of FML Industries right here in the village. And he's got a dairy agricultural background. He grew up on a dairy farm and stuff. So, in my opinion, that's the perfect kind of person you want on your planning board. They understand agriculture. We are an agricultural town. He also understands business. They run a local business right here in the village. So that's a very good candidate for that. And he's agreed to do it if the board wants to bless that appointment for him.
Sounds good.
All right. So I just need a motion. Let's just do it a formal motion, right?
Make a motion we're officially replacing,
Well, just to appoint, yes.
to appoint or replace, or how are you doing that? How do you want me to word this?
To appoint him to his own term,
Okay.
because these are, I gotta look and see how many years that would be. I forgot to do that. So it's probably at least 3 years. I think they were a 5-year term.
Okay, then I will make a motion to appoint Matt Sweeney
To fill out Bruce
to
Campbell's term.
fill out Bruce Crandall's position on the planning board for
Yep.
the current term.
So,
I'll second that.
any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So I'll let him know tomorrow, and then he can come down and get sworn in, and it'll be good to go, because there's a meeting coming right up too.
Yeah, the 24th.
There's a lot of meetings with all the solar projects and subdivisions going on right now. So we appreciate that. Okay, procurement policy. So every 2 years, our procurement policy, we said needs to be looked at. So I had a few minutes over the weekend, so my spare time, I redid the procurement policies, got them to Dan. He fine-tuned them for us. So there's 2 of them here. So there's one for the town of Homer. That's our general procurement. You can look through there. There's some red areas that we tightened up. It's basically anything that's in black is already in our procurement policy. No new mounts. It just tightened up the language that New York State recommends. We have one misprint in emergency spending. It was a 103 and it should have been a 104. I was reading on that, so we changed that. That's how I got into that. I was reading that where we did that wrong. So long as we were doing it, I thought we should look at the whole policy. Dan, you want to jump in on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, substantively, not much has changed. We just cleaned up some of the language. The thresholds are in line with what they were. But I think this one is a little bit more manageable. It's clearer, cleaner. But overall, we made sure that we were hitting all of the points that the state likes to hit on their audits. So it should be in good shape.
So we have 2 of them, so when we get to it, so we never had a highway department procurement policy. They're saying that every town should have one for the highway department. Basically the same thing, but it gives them, it spells out what their authority is. It follows their highway superintendent's handbook. So we wrote that out. The state's highly recommending that every town has that. So we went through and did that. And I see where I goofed up on that. On section 5, emergency highway procurements, that one's from 103, has got to be changed to 104. So if you could just handwrite that in, that's on your second page, under section 4, emergency highway procedures, 103 should be changed to 104. I didn't make the switch on that one.
Is that what the parenthesis 4 is after it?
I think that might be the typo. It should be 104.
Just 104.
Just, it should just be one,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, 103 is state procurement, 104 is emergency.
And this will get adjusted and be official, and then everybody will get a copy. Any questions on either one of these? And then Dan's got a resolution. If we're good, or do you want a month to look them over? I mean, nothing's really changed, it's just tightening things up. So are you good, Dan, I'll read a resolution? Do you have a resolution?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead and read it.
At a regular meeting of the town board of the town of Homer, Portland County, New York, held on the 11th day of February 2026, the following resolution was offered. Whereas pursuant to New York State General Municipal Law, Section 104B, the town of Homer is required to adopt written policies and procedures governing all procurement of goods and services not subject to competitive bidding requirements. And whereas the town board has reviewed and determined that updates to the town's procurement policy are necessary to ensure continued compliance with applicable laws and to reflect current operational practices. And whereas the town board has further reviewed and determined that a highway department procurement addendum is appropriate to address the specific operational and emergency procurement needs of the town highway department. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Homer hereby adopts the updated town procurement policy attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby adopts the highway procurement addendum as part of the town's procurement policy. And be it further resolved that this policy and addendum shall take effect immediately and shall supersede any prior procurement policies previously adopted by the town. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to maintain a copy of the adopted policy and addendum in the official records of the town, and to make the same available as required by law.
So someone would make that motion? Someone besides Brandon, he's already made 2.
I make a motion, we accept the town of Homer procurement policy with corrections as noted during this meeting.
Okay,
That's what I got.
second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to accept the town of Homer highway department procurement addendum, corrections noted at the meeting, going from GMO 103 parentheses 4 to GMO 104. Make that motion.
Second.
Sarah seconded. Okay, any discussion on that one? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So that's done for the next 2 years, so we want to do that. Lower level update, we're coming, it's coming along very well. We're back on track downstairs. I'm having a meeting with the contractors every Friday now to keep the target moving forward. Sheetrocking, they started actually taping. The plumbing got switched over, our heating got switched over. We've gone 3 days without heat in this facility, unfortunately. But we've had auxiliary heat, so we're finally back up and running. They ran in when they opened the system up to change your plumbing at that end of the building, we have a new supply closet. Disturbed all the sludge in the system because the system is so old, and it plugged up some filters. Took them a while to troubleshoot it, but they called me at 5 o'clock. I'm up and running finally. I come in this morning, I get here early just to check on things, and I'm glad I did because our auxiliary heat, somebody, won't say who, decided, well, we don't need it, so they turned it off because the boiler was supposed to be running. So I got here this morning, it was 51 degrees up here. So I turned that on. Called Brooke, said, dress warm. I didn't call Pat, but so that warms it up. I mean, you see the big heater out here. It really does a nice job warming it up. So it did warm it up. I'll agree that the cords were freezing. I hope we're on a roll now. We have 2 boilers down there. One boiler still is not working properly. They're not that old. They're coming back tomorrow. So we're running on one. Basically, the system runs on one boiler all the time. The other one is an emergency backup. So we should be good. We'll get the other one up and going. So we'll be back on track with that with heat. The wiring inspection has been completed. They got to pour concrete for the generators and for our cooling towers outside that are going in. There's 5 split systems going in. Most of the sheet metal work is done. The ramp's coming out. If you remember the old ramp coming down, that's coming out Monday. Then the walls will be redone, the ramp going in. So we're coming pretty good. I'm still pushing them. I'm telling them I'm not bending on this April 1st if I can help it. So we're shooting for April 1st. And then Pat and I are going to get together and we're going to strategize a big open house here with the board, of course, and we'll get a big open house and as the police department's moving in. But it's coming along, I think, very well. Carpet's all been picked out, color's been picked out, flooring's been picked out. So there's a lot happening. It's looking phenomenal. We're getting there. We got a ways to go though. A couple of the issues that we're going to have to address in the spring, and I've talked to Kyle about it, we have some water running in the facility. You couldn't see it before because of the way the rooms were and stuff, so we have water pooling in. And a lot of the wood with veneer around the bottom, that was all rotting on the bottom. Now that was off earlier when it was wetter before we had this cold snap. We had like 1.5 inches of water inside the building along the walls. Kyle opened up, we got together, we figured out where it was draining to, we opened them up, cleaned them out. That seemed to help it. But we got to do some blacktopping because over the years, the windowsills and where the grass is here, and every time you pave the parking lot, it keeps getting higher and higher. So everything's running into the building. So we talked about a cure for that, so we got to get pricing on that. We're going to work on that. That'll be different than the main project. We got to stop that water. We can't have that water coming in the future. So, but we got it under control. We got a plan figured out for that. Any questions on what's going on downstairs? Happy to show anybody that wants to see it. I think I took Sarah through here. Caleb's been down there. So anybody, tonight if you want to hang around, we can go down and look. But it is coming along right along.
How do they test that second boiler to make sure that it's operational if there is a down at first?
Big controllers, big LED board on the front, and everything is programmed into that.
Do they kick it on?
Oh yeah, one will kick on
Back and forth.
and back and forth. So it's supposed to be one is the primary. I would have thought they would have had one run so many hours, then the other one kicks on, but they say that's not how they do it. They got the one that's the primary, and something happens to that, the other one kicks on. So I got to leave it up to them. I'm not an HVAC guy.
So you check for radon or anything down there, Mike?
Did we?
Yeah.
That was never reported back.
Right.
That was reported.
That's actually surprising.
So that's where we are on that. So now I got a couple of change orders, and then we're going to get into. So the change orders, I've got. Pass these out to the board. That's right, I got the one. There's a few extra that, if anybody wants to look at it out there. So I've got I got 4 change orders. Should have added them up. That I've already approved, but I need you to, so there's change order 5, you see in the yellow box there for Diamond and change order 5 for $2,736. That's to build the wall at the ramp location, so when the ramp comes out, we're pulling out all the old wood there and putting the wall, sheetrock wall in there. Then there's change order 6 of $4,200. We're installing a ceiling, different lights down there because the engineer didn't think we needed a ceiling or anything in there. So that's happening for $4,200. And then in the armory, they left out a closet, doors, and a dividing wall that was needed in that room for the armory for the police department, and it didn't get included in the print, so that was a $6,198 increase on that one. And then AFT, our mechanical contractor, that's the, so going outside, we got a change order of $690 to increase our pad height for our compressors because of the water problem. They were gonna put them at ground level. I want them raised up so they're equal with our sill. So we're gonna blacktop up tight to the building. That way the water runs away from the building. So the easiest way to do that at this point of year is just add an increase in concrete. So instead of a 4-inch pad, we're gonna end up with a 10-inch pad. 10-inch that, if you can't put gravel and stuff this time of year, and it wouldn't really work right. So if we do it that way, we have a better result. So that's my change orders. I just need you guys to receive and file those change orders.
I'll make a motion to receive and file change orders 5, 6, 7, and 1.
A second.
Any other discussion on that? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, so now the second part, once you got these papers, I'm running up against our contingency. So our project was originally bid at $1,128,545.59. We had an approved contingency of $171,454.41. So that gave me a total of $1,300,000 to spend on this project. So I am now at our current contracts and stuff, we are at, with this approved tonight, I'm gonna be at $1,286,048.55. So I'm within, what, 14,000 of hitting my contingency. So I'm asking for another 100,000. I don't believe I'm gonna need the 100,000, but the reason this got run up, so if you look at your top side to your left on there, it says company name. I hate to do it, but I gotta throw our engineers and our architects under the bus. They left out so much stuff that we had to pick up. New York State Electric and Gas. They forgot with a generator that we had to run new gas lines and to run our generators and stuff. Bailey Insurance, that was for our, and I put that here, but if you remember, that was for our builder's risk insurance. So some got stolen or something. Diamond and Thiel, theirs is increased to 500,000 with their change orders. Beard Electric came up. We talked about that one a month or two ago, where we have to put a new service coming in because where they were gonna tie into the main service, they found there was no record of it. So there's an underground service, or goes down under, goes back into our meters. They had a lot of concrete left over when they did the project, so they encapsulated it in about 4 feet thick of concrete. It's an impossibility for them to jackhammer that out to get, they were originally gonna tie into that, they can't do it. So the most cost-effective way now is to put a new service in, which we've already approved, but that's running up some of our bills. The majority of our change orders are due to what was omitted. Pleasant Valley Electric for 44,000. They forgot, even though it was on the prints, there was no money. He forgot to get it. The engineer took care of putting this all out to bid. Prices on for the fire alarm system. So that was an add-on, 44,000 for us after everything was awarded. We got Paragon Environmental. That was when they ran into with the extra environmental stuff we had to do, that was an $8,000. Resource Associates, I had to have some engineering done on a crack in a wall, it was a $250 charge. So I showed them listed here, and then I got all the change orders. So I'm up against it. I know there's gonna be some more change orders coming up. Some of the other highlights of the change orders, that stuff that I had to make the calls on. Our architect that was here was a preservation architect. So his thought was, if we're gonna use every old door in the building, we're gonna reuse them. We were gonna save all the trim work and reuse it. We were gonna save all the wainscoting around the bottom. The wainscoting comes up this high, it was all the wood slats, if you remember. All of it was rotting on the bottom. And I said, there's no way we're using that. It all had to come off. He never thought about insulating the concrete walls. We had a little heated discussion on that. And they're looking, we got one shot at this for the next 25 to 50 years, we're insulating these walls. So they're insulated. So I had to make some of those spot decisions. It just made no sense not to insulate walls with the cost of utilities in these days. Now our walls are straight, our walls are gonna be straight like this, not, he had a big step in the walls, it made absolutely no sense. So that cost us a little bit. Nothing really huge, but it all does add up. We did that in our ramp area. Again, he didn't want to put a ceiling in there, wanted all these pipes exposed. It's not happening. It's gonna get boxed in, it's gonna be a nice modern look. We're getting sheetrock ceilings. 2 old bathrooms down at that end of the facility, he was gonna leave them as is. It just blew my mind, some of the stuff that got missed, so we had to change that. One of the big ones, and it actually was a little bit of a cost savings, he had ductwork running from the bottom floor all the way up. We would have come through the village offices, had to build a chaseway, go through the attic, and then our 3rd floor, and then through the attic and through the roof to put 2 14 by 14 vents. I nixed that and said, there's no way that's gonna happen, we're going through the wall. I don't wanna cut your wall, don't care what you want, we're going through the wall, because these units have to be serviced. So that means every time we had to get these serviced, we've had to get an 85-foot lift in here to get up on those units to service them. This way they're going through the wall, just through 14 by 14 holes, they can be serviced ground level. It's not a big deal to cut it. I talked to the HVCA guy, that's perfect, so that was a cost savings. Plus it didn't tear up the village offices, we're not all the way upstairs. Just stuff like that that we, it's normal. Our architect is good, he did a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that, was just, didn't make sense, so we had to change. So I'm gonna be honest, I've been very busy with this project, running my own business. I'm here 3 or 4 times a day right now. There's so many questions going on that's gotta be answered. Our architect doesn't come around. I don't really care that he's not here anymore. Don't need him. We'll make the decisions, we'll get it done. I talked to Caleb, I'll talk to you guys as need be, but most of it's all simple decisions to keep this project moving forward. And the only way we're gonna get it done is I'm ramrodding it to make sure they're getting done. I meet with them every day, 2 or 3 times. I get calls. I'll run down, force in my shop system, a couple miles up the road. So that's where we're on that. But that's why I'm asking for another 100,000, because once it's done, like I said, we gotta do some blacktop work. We've got to, I've got some, the Center of the Arts. I talked with Pat on this, Mayor and stuff. We're getting it set up for,
The conference with the audio visual.
downstairs. I wanted to make sure we had the right chaseways in place. So the Center of the Arts, Pat knows them really well. I know the guys through Tyler. He sent his guys over. They were looking around. You want to explain a little more?
So Ty has an apprenticeship program with their techs. They have a senior tech and then they have a junior tech, and he brought over his 2 best guys to help with the sound system. So, we don't have to do this hodgepodge setup anymore. It'll be a professional, you come in, you plug in, and you can do Zoom meetings, you can do recording, you can do everything you need to without having to constantly set up, tear down, set up, tear down. And it'll also be good for training if you have to do mandatory trainings. They'll have it set up so that we can bring in conferences and training opportunities for everybody. And it'll have that, and as well as for those that have been in the county office building and been up to the 3rd floor, and the acoustics are absolutely dismal. They were there to also make sure, because it's a longer room, that if we have a meeting on one end, the voices and sound will be great at the other end as well. So they're putting something together on that for the town.
So we can look and just make sure we got the right power going to the right spots before we get everything sealed up down there. So it's just, I thought it was very nice that they were doing that for us. They're gonna put a proposal together, what equipment and stuff we would need. And so they're, the center of the arts, you know, everybody wants to work together. Our room downstairs is, it's gonna be a beautiful room. It's twice the size of this. The state, you know, has used it in the past. That's gonna be a very, I think, popular room to be used. We also want to make sure if there's a major catastrophe in the town, that's going to be a main central room for control center. Hopefully we never run into that, but with a generator here and everything, this building's going to be live 24/7. And with the police department here, so we wanted to make sure we were set up properly. It's easy to run stuff in the walls right now. Once these walls are sealed up, so we're trying to think as far ahead as we possibly can. So with that, Tim, did you have any questions? Did I answer your questions?
No, I just, so with the architect, he just makes the decision what you're gonna do. No one else looks at the program.
Well, you put all the prints together with and then wrote the spec book. So when we looked at it, didn't have a lot of time to look at it, but when you're looking at these prints, there's 100 prints, the spec books is 540 pages.
Right, but doesn't Kevin look at those, or the code enforcer, to okay him to be done?
Mm-hmm. There was nothing illegal that he did.
No, I understand, but these are just changes that you kind of want.
Well, we need a gas for the generator. I don't know how you run the gas, the
I
generator.
understand that. I mean, there's some things that need to be done. But I mean, when they, for fire, you know, the ceiling being not covered with sheet rock, I mean, that stuff, was that the reason why you did it, or just for looks?
Well, for both. I mean, you got that old wood that's 100 years old.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And the lights, and they would have had, instead of recessed lights, they would have been down. So when you come in the ramp area, I had to move the pipes because with the jail being, or not the jail, with the police department being there and the courts being there, it's gonna have a lot more access. So you have pipes that kids could grab and swing on, or juveniles. So we wanted to make it.
So, but if, I mean, future-wise, if something breaks in one of the lines, it's gonna ruin all that sheet rock.
Yes and no. I mean, almost all your piping, and it's in a chase way, so they can get in the other room and pull the stuff out if need
Okay,
be.
I'm just saying, you know what I
Yep.
mean? I
No.
mean, that's why you probably didn't put it in there, but, I mean.
Well, he never thought about it.
Right, okay.
That was totally left off the print. So this is stuff that, as we're going along, that it's not on the prints, and everybody's, what do you want to do here? I don't want these pipes 2 feet below the ceiling, 7 feet off the floor where you can
No,
grab
I
it.
understand all that.
So, I mean, we just run into a lot
I
of.
was just curious about, you know, like when you look at the prints, and you see the prints aren't done, I mean, I thought the code enforcer would catch on to that stuff, that, you know.
Well, he's just looking to make sure the code enforcement, to defend him, and he's just looking, does it meet the requirements?
Okay.
It's really,
I mean, I've just seen other projects where he's didn't like what it looked like, so we changed every stop order, what I'm saying, on certain things.
they've been inspecting every part of the project.
Okay.
Everything gets inspected, the plumbing, the insulation, everything. He's been part of it. I've kept Kevin. We gone down there and looked at bathrooms and stuff because we didn't like the layout of some bathrooms to make sure they're code compliant. They've had to move some piping in the ground to make it code compliant. So, yeah, he's right there. I'll see if we can give him
No, I
a work
understand.
order to move forward. Yeah.
I understand.
No, I understand what you're saying, but yeah,
Okay, and just as long as we're looking at those situations.
absolutely.
I mean, if there's gonna be a chase way, you can shut the water off in time so it don't ruin your whole ceiling, because that's where all our pipes go, stuff like that. I mean, we're here now.
A couple of the things that our plumber, Dan, DMF, there's a main drain pipe, if you remember. So when you sat down in that room, it came all the way around the building, it came over, curved over, and it went out the wall. And they were gonna reroute that, and we were still gonna go out the wall, and we got talking about that. I said, can't you do anything else? So they did figure it out, so now that's all gonna be buried under the ceiling, and we were able to do away with that pipe to go out through that wall. So that pipe's totally gone away. So that really cleaned that up, so we're burying that pipe, it's gonna be marked, but we're burying it in the wall, we should never need it. They just ran everything backwards the way, I don't know why they didn't do it that way originally. So that really cleaned things up downstairs, so all our plumbing will be under a drop ceiling. It's gonna have a nice look, it's gonna look a lot like this here, you know, nice ceilings.
So you said sheetrock, that's the best thing.
This here, the only place we're sheetrocking, because we don't have the height clearance,
Okay.
is where the ramp is.
That's all I was, okay.
Yeah, every place else where we can is drop ceiling so we can get up there. The height clearance right there was so minimal, that's what we had to do to maintain it.
Okay.
You know? Anybody else, any questions on what we're doing here?
Do you have any other than the blacktop that needs to be done and other than the electronics in the room? Are there any other things? Because now we're getting past you tore everything down, you're putting things back together. We're getting past the structure part of it, right? Like, is there anything else on the horizon that you're concerned about? There shouldn't really be, at this point in time, it should be tidying up and closing things up.
Right, there'll be some little things, there's gonna be a fixture or something that's gotta be different than what we anticipated. You know, I don't, some little stuff, but we will need, once that's done, the police department, they'll be on their own to furnish their side. They've already got most of their stuff, and
Yeah.
they've already bought some doors and stuff, special doors that they wanted, that they're supplying that, the village has supplied that. On our side, tables and chairs, for that room, you know, whatever we wanna do with a video system, once they come back, but we'll get into that discussion, that's not something I'm gonna make the decision on. We gotta do some blacktopping outside, we may have to do some drainage. This has gutters on it, and when they guttered it down, the pipes go underground, and there's manhole outside, another manhole, and it looks like either stuff settles, water's running back. That could be part of this capital project, but once we figure out what that needs to be done, we'll have to talk about that. I'm not seeing that right now, but it has to happen this summer, because we gotta keep this building dry with that big investment. So some of that, I don't think that's gonna be too bad. Kyle can do the majority of that, our town highway department can. I'm hoping there's not too much more. It might be a little bit more on the electrical. Thinking we're past 99% of it. I don't think I'm gonna need 100,000, but at the same time, I don't wanna have to keep running back every board meeting to improve. And to be honest with you, that'll put us at 1.4 million. It's a lot of money. Original guesstimate was 1.5 to 2 million to do this project. So we're still under that.
Well,
but
now we know why.
again, we're not looking just to spend money.
Yeah, well, now we know why the original bid came in so low, it was missing stuff.
It was missing so much
Yeah.
stuff, right? And it's not the contractor's fault.
It was the paperwork.
Incomplete plans,
that they got.
yeah. So we have a resolution here. So I want a formal resolution authorizing additional project contingency. I can't read the whole thing, I won't have a voice. Do you want it read, or can you all read it? Do you have it? Everybody should have it.
We got it earlier.
Do you want it read out loud? Should we read it out loud, Dan?
That's a total issue, you don't have to. It's in the board deck.
Waive the reading,
What's that?
waive the reading.
Waive the reading? Okay. So I need a motion on the contingency.
I'll make a motion, we add 100,000 to the contingency fund for the town of Homer construction project, bringing the total contingency fund to 300,000, right? 300,000 is our total contingency, right? 200?
It'll
They
be
bring it to 271.
271.
Okay, so those odd numbers were The original contingency?
Yeah, so 171 was the original contingency, so that'll put our contingency at 271
Total
for
271, 454, 41. I'll make that motion.
and that the town supervisor authorized to approve contingency expenditures within the authorized amount. So we're gonna approve this document here, so that way I can, because I gotta be able to approve change orders, I can't wait till the board meeting, so this project will never get done. So I just approve them as I'm going along. And then I report back to you every month on so everyone has always been reported back.
Then I'm a little unclear on what you want me to make for a motion.
Just adopt this one right here, Kevin. This says it all.
To be a motion to adopt the resolution, it's entitled, authorizing additional project contingency for the Homer Town Hall lower level renovation project.
Okay, I'll pull back my original motion and I'll make a motion that we authorize a resolution authorizing the additional project contingency fund of the Homer Town Hall lower level renovation project.
Second. Any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Thank you. So board assignments, we talked about that a little bit. So Sarah, you working with the clerks. Caleb, you're working with Kyle. And he's got some projects coming up that need you a little bit more involved with him on that.
Yeah.
If you would, please. Brandon, want you to be working on the buildings and grounds, and I want to go over some stuff with that. With these furnaces and stuff, I need a point man to make sure they're being serviced every year. We're going to have more stuff outside. But also, I would like you to start getting pricing on painting our cupola, touching up our trim. We were going to do that last year, but we held off with the other building projects, but this one's coming to an end. We need to get that paint. It's looking pretty bad up there, and I want to make sure it stays preserved. So if you could start reaching out, and I'll talk to you about that a little bit so you know what the parameters that you've got to ask everybody. We'll write up an RFI. We'll have Dan approve it, but I want to start working with you on that. Kevin is my contract kind of guy. He's already got 3 or 4 jobs. He works with PERMA and the insurance companies and everything, so I don't want to load him up with too much more. He's doing the court audit. Him and Caleb are doing the court audit and stuff. So we'll leave that at that unless anybody's got any questions on the board assignments. Clerk.
Oh, we've just gone through tax season pretty much. I mean, we're still in the thick of it. But it's like almost January 31st, the plug's pulled and the office settles down, but we have tons of escrow to get through now. So Lindsay and I are getting ready to get through all of our escrow accounts. Since Donna retired, we brought in Micaiah, my son, just to help file papers for about 3 weeks, just to kind of get us a little bit ahead until we can actually look to get somebody hired permanently. But other than that, we officially got all of our stamps, so Lindsay and I can notarize now officially, so that's kind of exciting. Lindsay did her first one the other day. So, but other than that, we're busy. We live for the weekends because it's just a busy time. But
So bring in the Micaiah. So the position was already created with Donna. She came back. Her health was really failing. So I feel sorry for her. So we had a discussion. She decided it would be in her best interest just to retire because she really couldn't do it anymore. So we appreciate her. We sent a card out. You guys signed it. So, just keep her thoughts. These ladies are just overloaded in there. Since the position was created, the money is appropriated already. And I have the authority to appoint that position. But I had Sarah, part of an interview, along with the 2 clerks and myself. They did the interview, and that's who they recommended, just to come in for a 3-week period, which he knows he's just 3 weeks. 4 hours a day, just to help do a lot of the filing that they couldn't get caught up. I gotta be honest, I don't know how these other towns do it. their clerks work 3 or 4 hours. These guys work 5 days a week, and they've been on 35 hours or longer, almost 40 hours, because you're working 8-hour days, right? 7-hour days on Fridays instead of closing. And if you ever come down, people are lined up here to pay taxes and see. I think they just want to visit with them, but they're here. It's a very busy office. So we had to bring in some help. After that, I want these three to review what the needs would be so we can determine, do we need another full, or how do we want to structure going forward. So I just wanted to get them out of this hole. Then we got to take some time and strategize where we want to go forward. So that's where I want Sarah to work with these two, strategize where we should be through the summer and next year at this time. Part of it, we wanted to talk with the village too. They get a lot of interns and see how that program works, and maybe they can guide us on that. We've never done that. They do it quite often, so I want to pick your brain sometime, or these guys, on that.
Yeah, we don't know if that's gonna work better, like you do, Pat, because you have 2 interns, Karen Snyder, she's helped us just to do our retention schedule, and that might be all we need.
Yeah, we can talk more later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got Karen Snyder that helps with the retention, and then during the summer we have the interns are the part-time. So it's been helpful, and I think there's a cost savings there. So.
Okay. So the next part is we get a tax collection extension. Do you want to handle that one? You want to talk about it?
Well, basically, it's just, so we collect until, we just need to approve this if we want to collect until the end of May, and we do every year. It benefits the town because we earn extra interest. So we just need a motion to, approve that we can collect taxes until the end of May.
Each one of you have that in your packet.
What percent have been collected, do you know roughly?
I should have had that ready. It will be a lot more with escrow because we have so much escrow checks, so we haven't. But I know I don't even remember. We're definitely we're not quite half, but we've definitely got a couple million. We collect 7 something.
I'm going to have Dan read this motion, and I think that'll help.
Town law provides that tax rolls and tax funds collected by town collectors be returned to the county finance office no later than April 1st of each year. The same law provides that the director of finance may extend the time for a collector to hold the roll and collect taxes to May 31st, 2026 upon their receipt from the town supervisor. I'm enclosing a form for you to use in making this request. Before making the request, you should have the approval of your town board. I plan to ask for an extension of time to collect taxes to May 31st, and the county finance office must receive your application no later than April 1st. Thank you for your attention to this matter. If you wish to extend the collector's time to collect taxes until May 31st, 2026, please sign this form to the county finance office. So basically, we need a motion to authorize the town supervisor to execute the real property tax law, section 938 form for the extension of tax collection. And we've got, application is hereby made in pursuance to section 938 of the real property tax law for an extension of time until, whatever that date was, May 31st, 2026, for the collection of taxes in the town of Homer, for the reason that the collector has been unable to collect all the taxes of the town of Homer. So we need that motion to authorize the town supervisor to execute this section 938 form.
Okay. So everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need a motion in this.
I will make a motion to authorize Supervisor Parks to, oh boy,
Extend the tax.
extend the
31st.
taxes to May 31st, 2026 for section 938 of the real property tax law.
Second. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So I got our seasonal road review update. And just some email. I know the emails going around. I know you guys aren't ready tonight, but you want to give us a quick update?
Yeah, Caleb reached out to me a week or 2 ago, and Sarah reached out recently as well. We met almost last year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while
Last
ago.
fall.
Last fall. I've been working on a draft local law that would put some parameters in place for the town, or for residents of the town to be able to request the town board open up specific seasonal roads at the request. Like if somebody's planning to build a home on a road that we designate every year as a seasonal road, that puts forward a process for that to happen formally. Right now, we do not have one, so we kind of, it's on a case-by-case basis, but it would be good to have a law that lays out that policy and procedure. So I do have a draft, and hopefully we'll share it next month. So.
So for everybody else, that was, right now is, we have a lot of seasonal roads. So somebody could build 5 miles away from the nearest where we stop plowing. Since we have no policy, we are then forced to maintain that road and start plowing it. It's not that saying we're not, but we need to be notified. We need a law so that we can prepare for it. We start plowing roads and got to maintain roads that are 5 miles with one house. That's not cost effective for the town. That'll bankrupt us in a hurry. So we're trying to get some controls on that. You want to build out here, that's fine and dandy. We'll do certain things, but you're going to be responsible for certain things. You know, with our budget, that'll blow our budget so quick trying to maintain a road for one house. Not that we're trying to stifle development, but we ran into that last year. It isn't too bad, it's only a half a mile. And we're doing it, and but I just thought it would be a great idea that we look at if we can at least put some safeguards in. Without a law, we are stuck. We have to do it by New York State law. We put a law in, at least we can have some control on it. The other thing I did ask them to look at is if we can push back our seasonal road law to November 1st instead of December 1st. Because this year it snowed early, so we're plowing roads that they shouldn't be on. But New York State law says you have to maintain them. So we ended up plowing them. New York State law also says we can't change that December 1st date. So we're going to be stuck there. Unfortunately, but it's not too bad, but you know, most winters it's not a problem, but this winter we've got to plow roads. I'm sure Virgil and Cortlandville have the same effect. Yeah. So that's where we're on that court audit. Kevin, you had a...
February 18th, 10 a.m.
Okay. So we'll have that for our March meeting. Thank you.
The new town justice just finished her first month, so she's actually learning the system. So we should be ready to rock February 18th.
Have you talked to her, Kevin? I have.
Yeah,
All going good for her?
Yep, all fine. Everybody's situated. There was one person that stayed on. Was going to facilitate a big changeover. So everything's done. I expect everything to be smooth.
Good. So that's it. Anything from the board? Dan?
Yeah, I guess the only thing I wanted to mention, last month I reported to the board that AES on that large solar development that spreads across parts of town of Homer, town of Cortlandville, and so on, right? They had applied to ORS for a limited notice to proceed so that they could start cutting trees, hand felling, with chainsaws, no heavy equipment. Somewhat randomly, a week ago, they withdrew their request, and we haven't really heard why. Last time I talked to special counsel, he had not heard anything from their attorneys. He just received a letter from the Office of Renewable Energy citing that the limited notice to proceed was withdrawn.
I can tell.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
All
They
right.
called me and talked to me.
Okay.
Their engineers fell asleep and couldn't get the work done, so they fired them and had to hire a new engineering group.
Gotcha. So they didn't want to put that in the letter.
That's honest truth. Their engineers couldn't fulfill it, so they fired them, hired new engineers. So they had to push the date back. I also asked them, there's a rumor going around that this project has been sold about 4 different times. So I said, Chloe Pruitt has been the contact, so she just calls me out of the blue. We haven't heard from her in months or anything from this project. So I said, is there any truth to Black Rock? She kind of hemmed and stuttered, but, well, not that I know of. But we think Black Rock's going to end up buying, and that's scuttlebutt. That's a big nationwide. Doesn't matter, there's nothing we can control on that or anything, but as long as they fulfill the pilots and everything. And we'll give credit to Victor Siegel. We had a meeting with Town of Homer, Cortlandville, and Solon. That guy spends a lot of time researching and stuff, so he come up with some very interesting concepts that maybe how we can increase our pilots and stuff. So we took all that information and, between Fran Casillo and Dan, that's Cortlandville's lawyer, we sent it to our special environmental lawyer that we hired for this project. Sent it to him to look into it, because if what Victor came up with, if even half of it could apply, that'd make a huge difference in our tax situation, which would go a long ways to offset a lot of what the county took from us. So with that, anything else, Dan?
That's it.
Nothing else from the board, anything else? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Good.